Good morning, I'm Haley Moore and welcome. First off, ISIS is recruiting people in a new way. Twitter is one of the main sources used by ISIS. Every one Twitter page taken down by the American government, 5 more Twitter pages are put up by it.
Meanwhile, ISIS and its supporters are issuing new threats against Twitter.
That's right. The threat was posted in Arabic on an anonymous website. It shows a picture of Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey with a target on his face. Joining us from Washington is CBS News Justice Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Pegues. So, Jeff, what do we know about this latest threat from ISIS?
Well, we know that Twitter is investigating. In fact, they sent out a statement that we're going to put up on your screen. It says, and there's not a lot in this statement, but it gives you a sense of where they're going with this. It says, our security team is investigating the veracity of these threats with relevant law enforcement officials. So they're interested in finding out who is behind these threats. But we know that the company has been working for some time now to shut down ISIS-related accounts, just as other social media companies are doing right now as well.
So the threat came from a group that is sympathetic to ISIS. Do we know anything about this group? Is this sort of a legitimate terrorism group or anything about them?
Well, we don't know a lot about them right now, but it's something, obviously, that law enforcement and Twitter can not just dismiss. Unfortunately, you have to look into things like this, and we know that when you shut down these accounts, and this is what I'm hearing from law enforcement, typically when you shut down these accounts, these ISIS-related accounts pop up under different names. So it's really hard to stop something like this from happening, but you can't dismiss it. You really have to take it seriously.
Yeah, Jeff, we've been speaking for many weeks now about how adept ISIS is at using social media to get their message out. In fact, I think the last time we spoke, you mentioned that your reporting had uncovered that ISIS sometimes tweets out 90,000 tweets a day.
Pennsylvania University student is suing the school after failing a class twice.
A Pennsylvania University nursing student failed her required course 2 times. She had high anxiety, which made her have different difficulties in concentration. Her name is Jennifer Barbella. She claims her Misericordia University professor did not do a lot to help her pass a class on adult health patterns. Jennifer states the professor gave her a quiet, distraction-free environment and more time on her final exam when she had taken the class the second time. Jennifer said she broke down in tears because of the lack of help. She is suing $75,000 in damage.
There was another earthquake in Nepal just 17 days after the first one. At least 65 people have died from the 7.3 magnitude earthquake, and 1,926 people are injured.
Moved back into their homes, a lot of them, but a lot of them still were camping out because they were just too scared to go back to their homes or just simply didn't have a home to go back to. And then this happens. This is going to have a huge impact, of course, on the minds of the people, on the psychology of the people. We've been talking to a lot of people on the ground. They've just been talking about the noise, the sound of all those people yelling when they realized that this was another massive earthquake. Of course, in terms of relief operations, this is going to hamper a lot of that as well, because there's been a series of landslides in that Dolka area, which is around the epicenter of this earthquake. We know that some of the major highways there have been blocked off, the major highway to China as well. And this is an area that, people were already, or the army, the government was already struggling to get to these parts of Nepal after the previous earthquake, and now you have this. And we went out with the army several times after the first earthquake on the chopper, because a lot of times that was the only way to get to these parts of Nepal. You can only, because of the altitude, you can only take a certain amount of relief material in. You can only bring back a certain amount of injured people. So the whole process is so complicated, and this just sets all of that back a little bit once again, Wolf.
And in these past 3 weeks, that huge earthquake at the end of April, but since then there have been a lot of aftershocks as well, and now a second major earthquake unfolding. So when you're speaking to folks over there, what are they saying to you, Sumnima?
absolutely terrified, Wolf. They were terrified anyway after that first earthquake. As I mentioned, a lot of them were camping out. When I asked them, when do you plan on moving back to your home? They said, look, it still feels, even when there's no earthquake, I still feel like I'm shaking.
Summer is just around the corner, so here are some healthy tips from health professional Hannah Kane.
1/3 of adults and over 12.5 children and teens in the U.S. are very obese. In the last 30 years, obesity in children and teens have tripled excessively. There are more adults and teens who try and starve themselves. That is very unhealthy. You need to eat heart-healthy foods. Do not ever skip out on breakfast. That is the most important meal of the day. Eat fruits, veggies, and get exercise at least an hour a day, whether it's running or walking or playing with your dog. Sleep is also very important. 9 to 10 hours is probably the best.
Roll call. First up, we're headed to Onstead, Michigan, home of the Wildcats. Next up, we're headed back to Onstead, Michigan. We'd like to give a big shout out to Miss Doig's first hour class. Our last stop for today is Adrian High School. You're not as cool as Onstead, but it's okay. Now here's the random dumb fact of the day.
Do you like gorillas? Well, I sure do. A gorilla can live 40 to 50 years. If taught, gorillas can use sign language. There's only about 700 mountain gorillas, and they live in Central Africa. They sleep around 8 hours a day.
We wish you could hang around, but we know you would go bananas. So don't monkey around too much, and have a terrific day from all of us here at